Good morning, everybody. My name is Niall McLoughlin. I'm the Principal with the Air Quality, Noise, Environmental Radiation Protection Division. And at the outset, I'd like to thank the NICE Network for the invitation to present today on air quality policy developments. As this is my second week in this position, I look forward to learning immeasurably more from all of you over the next 2 days than you might learn from me in the next 15 minutes or so. But the one thing I do hope you take away from my contribution is that improving the quality of our air is an absolute priority for my division and the department, and that the policy choice that we will make in attaining this goal will be informed, ambitious, and comprehensive. I'm going to briefly touch on a range of issues which can broadly be summarised along the following lines: the quality of the air that we breathe, our programme for government commitments, the climate action plan, sectorial challenges, nationwide approach to solid fuel regulation, enforcement, and clean air strategy. While Ireland's air quality is good, there is clear room for improvement. Clean air is fundamental to our health and quality of life and is essential for the health of the environment on which we all depend. People have no choice about the air they breathe. We as government, state and other actors have an important role to develop policies to deliver clean air, hence the high priority given to improving Ireland's air quality in the programme for government. Air quality in Ireland compares favourably with more industrialised and urbanised countries, but is not without challenges. The recent EPA report, Air Quality in Ireland 2019, indicates that we are largely complying with EU legislative requirements, but we are falling short of the WHO guideline values for health. In addition, the report notes that we have exceeded the EU annual legal limit for NO2 at a site this year, and that we have problems with particulate matter in some towns and villages. The Department of Environment, Climate and Communications is taking several steps to meet these air quality challenges, and the priority being afforded to improving the quality of our air can be seen in the range of commitments given in this regard through the programme for government. These include the publication of Ireland's first ever clean air strategy, the development of a regional approach to air quality enforcement, and a multi-agency approach to clamping down on the sale of high sulphur content fuel imported from the UK, with local authorities and the revenue commissioners involved. The continued investment in our network of monitoring stations to provide scientific evidence of air quality across different parts of the country, including real-time and localised air quality information, and the extension of the smoky fuel ban to new towns over the term of government as we move towards a full nationwide regulation. Ireland published its first climate action plan in August 2019. This sets out an ambitious course of action to address the disruptive impact of climate change on Ireland's environment, society, economy, and our natural resources. The CAP sets out 183 actions, which show how Ireland can reach its 2030 greenhouse gas targets, as well as putting us on the right trajectory towards net zero carbon by 2050. It outlines a state of play across all key sectors, including electricity, transport, built environment, industry, and agriculture. The plan includes a number of actions which will have a significant impact on reducing emissions and improving air quality. Actions include the development of a regulatory framework for low emission zones and providing local authorities with the power to restrict access to certain parts of a city or a town to zero emission vehicles only, putting 180,000 electric vehicles on our roads by 2025 and almost 1 million by 2030. Steps to decarbonise the public transport fleet. The development of a 5-year cycling strategy and the rollout of 200 kilometres of new cycle lanes through Bus Connects. Encouraging a transition to public transport through new park and ride strategy to help reduce congestion and lower journey times. Legislating for no new fossil fuel vehicles to be sold from 2030 onwards. In addition, the Department of Environment and Department of Transport are co-chairing a working group on urban transport-related air pollution, comprising representatives of the two departments, as well as the Departments of Health, Finance and Public Expenditure and Reform, the Dublin local authorities, the EPA and various bodies in the transport sector, including Transport Infrastructure Ireland and the National Roads Association. This group will report later this year with recommendations to address pollution from traffic. We also face challenges in relation to concentrations of particulate matter in smaller towns, which is predominantly related to domestic solid fuel burning. Minister Ryan created 13 new low smoke zones from September of this year, which will help address concentration of PM and related health concerns in these towns. There has been a greater focus in recent months on matters pertaining to air quality, particularly in the context of COVID-19. In addition, the evidence basis for air quality policy has been enhanced by the substantial expansion of the EPA's monitoring network, increased modelling capacity, as well as the recent publication of more detailed research on residential solid fuel. Regulating the sale and use of other solid fuels for the domestic heating is challenging because of the greater number of sources and greater variation in the quality of the fuels. But government have committed to introduce the necessary measures over its term to move towards the implementation of a full nationwide regulation in relation to solid fuels. The first step in this process will be a public consultation, and I look forward to the insights that will be provided as a result. The public consultation and development of a nationwide solid fuel regulation is to be conducted with a view to assessing the merit of a national approach, determining what solid fuels should be regulated, understanding how solid fuels should be regulated, and setting out an appropriate timeline for implementation of any new regulations. The findings of this consultation will feed into the development of new legislation, which will regulate the use of solid fuel in the residential sector. Many people are unaware that emissions in the home increase personal exposure to pollutants and contributed significantly to our overall national emissions. Burning solid fuel is an inefficient process, and onboard particles will leave the stove or fireplace by the chimney or directly into houses that they are heating, causing both indoor and outdoor air pollution. This speaks to the need to develop communication campaigns targeted at domestic burners to improve awareness of the environmental and public health impacts of burning. This is not an easy task. An open fire is one of the enduring symbols of comfort in Ireland. From the coal-filled fires with marble mantelpieces to open hearths in public houses, we associate heat from solid fuels with both emotional and physical well-being. The open fires withstood hearth taxes and smoke money in the past and carbon taxes today. But while some older people and low-income households still depend on open fires for heating, for the majority, an open fire is a comfort rather than a necessity. What will ultimately motivate people to move from burning solid fuels is when they experience the comfort of a well-insulated home with alternative energy systems. The BER for new homes are so exacting that the majority of new builds don't actually have chimneys, which proves how effective cross-cutting regulation can be, and as regulators, how much potential we can realize when we work together to address issues. Given the fact that air pollution is a major environmental health risk, and that the EEA estimates that there were 1,300 premature deaths in Ireland due to fine dust particles air pollution in 2017 alone, enforcement of the various regulatory controls and codes in this area should be regarded as an absolute priority by all. The most recent EPA Focus on Local Authority Environmental Enforcement report has recommended that a coordinated approach to enforcement in relation to air quality issues is required given the links between burning of solid fuels and health effects of air pollution. With respect to the burning of solid fuels, increased inspections and enforcement, including the use of fixed payment notices, is required. These are recommendations that the department are keen to work with local authorities with a view towards implementation. There are already very good use of multi-agency approaches to enforcement being applied in waste enforcement at a regional level with supporting national structures, which can be applied to air enforcement also. The department has begun to engage with the CCMA to ascertain how a regional approach to air and noise enforcement might be developed, particularly given their experience in developing the Whirla model for waste enforcement, with a view to developing a multi-agency approach to clamping down on the sale of high sulphur content fuel imported from the UK, with local authorities and revenue commissioners involved, liaising with key stakeholders to set up working groups and reviewing previous operations, determining the best coordinated approach and appropriate locations and numbers of checks to be carried out. Given the wide range of pollutant sources, it is important that action is coordinated across the various sectors. There are a number of plans under development, including the National Air Pollution Control Programme, the implementation of the National Climate Action Plan, which are relevant to the Clean Air agenda. The department needs to ensure that synergies are maximised between these plans and the development of the Clean Air Strategy, with a view to achieving lasting reductions in the health and environmental impacts of air pollution. The aforementioned measures and plans will complement the work of the department in finalising the Clean Air Strategy in line with the programme for government commitment. Many of the changes that I've outlined today will have a positive economic and societal co-benefits, including cleaner air, warmer homes, and a more sustainable economy for the longer term. They can only be achieved through a whole of government approach in collaboration with all the stakeholders represented here today. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I greatly look forward to working with you all in progressing this ambitious air agenda. Any questions you might have, feel free to use the conference app, and we'll do our best to answer them. Thanks again.